we kind of saw it coming. My siblings and I talked to my dad about it and said, something's not right with Mom. We're concerned about her. We're worried. One day when I was 14, I was at school. I was on the track team, so I stayed after school for track practice. And usually my dad would pick me up then on his way home from school. So I waited around for him to give me a ride, and he didn't show up. So eventually I called home, and a neighbor answered the phone and told me something happened to your mom. I think maybe she had a stroke or something, and they took her to the hospital. And I remember wondering if I had lost my mom, if I had seen her for the last time that morning. And I hadn't lost her physically. She hadn't died. She was still with us, but in a way I had lost her. That was the day Mom had her first full and complete psychotic break. She lost touch with reality. She lost the ability to care for herself in the most basic ways. Every time Mom was hospitalized, or every time we saw her have a break with reality, we had to go through, individually and as a family, a cycle of grief and loss. I was astounded to find out that in any given year in the United States, 25% of the adult population suffers from a diagnosable mental illness. So as I began to understand just how common this was, it became clear to me that our churches have a serious problem in failing to address mental illness. We have so many people sitting in our churches on Sunday morning who are suffering in one way or another, affected by mental illness, who never hear the church talk about it the way I didn't hear the church talk about it. And if we in the church have communities that don't allow for people to be weak at times, don't allow them to sometimes be sick or hurting or suffering, we need to look at the way we do church and reinvent ourselves so that we do make that kind of allowance for them, so that we have the kind of biblical community that not only cares for people who need help, but also teaches a theology that allows for the kind of suffering that people with mental illness go through. When in a dark place, just a little bit of light can make a huge difference. And mental illness, for most people who are affected, at least at times, is a very dark place. There's great need for the kind of hope that the church can provide. So last fall, I got a package in the mail from my mom, and inside were some clothes that she had made for my kids. There were many years, there were decades of my life where I would have told you that would never happen, where I didn't believe my mom would ever be capable again of sewing something nice for my children. And I'll be honest, I had given up on that. But God knew better. So understanding that the power of our hope in Christ can make a huge difference to people. We have tremendous hope. We have hope for this life because Christ redeems our sufferings. We have hope for the next life because we will experience the ultimate in redemption, the recreation of our bodies, new brains that don't suffer the way we suffer in this life. It doesn't get more hopeful than that. And we, as believers in Christ, we carry that dual message of hope for now and for the future. And we can pass that along. We don't have to despair or to decide, like the rest of the world often does, that because someone suffers tremendously, there's no hope for them. There's great hope for them.